we are excited to share a video capturing the Big Island Nursery Tour with visits to 5 different growers. Let's watch and enjoy this video.
So everybody, welcome to Newman's Nursery. And we're so fortunate today because we have the owner, proprietor, Jeff Newman, a friend of mine, grows beautiful orchid plants and other kind of plants as we read in the brochure. So Jeff's is going to give us a kind of a preface on what he does, and we'll follow him through a tour. Jeff?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So, like he said, I'm Jeffrey Newman, the owner of Newman's Nursery. I've been farming since I was pretty young. I started this out from nothing. So I've been doing this for 38 years. I started out primarily as a cut flower grower, and I used to sell all my cut flowers. This was in the late 80s, early 90s to Eric. I used to sell it to him before. Yeah. Then I got out of that business. So currently I only grow potted orchids, and we sell to everywhere in the United States, Puerto Rico. We have all the Home Depot, Lowe's in Hawaii, California, the whole western coast for both of them, for Home Depot and Lowe's. And I understand you guys are like more florist kind of stuff. So right now, this time of the year, we don't have a whole bunch of production right now, but it's coming up. If you were to come here in January, you would be like at a party or something. There's so much stuff to see. We'll walk over here and I'll show you kind of a few things what I do. Okay, so let me just tell you a little bit more of what, I haven't done a tour in 10 years, so let me tell you a little bit more about what I do. We grow nobile dendrobiums, cattleya orchids, lady slippers, a little bit of regular dendrobiums, but we're getting out of that, and paphiopedilums. Pretty much, like I said, the nobiles, they're very difficult to grow, and I developed a technique years ago where I can bloom them on a year-round basis, pretty much. And like I said, I'm one of a few, maybe there's 1 or 2 people that grow them in the United States, and I can plan them to bloom when I need them. Like for Valentine's Day, we can have them like exactly that week before or whatever we want. I've been breeding orchids for a long time. Like I said, I've been doing this 38 years. I first started breeding cattleyas, and I studied for 5 to 10 years, and then I started breeding them. And then I really got into the lady slippers, and I started breeding those too. I developed some new varieties of grammatophyllum that are my own. I'm pretty much the only one that grows those, probably in large quantity in the whole U.S. And they're pretty, I don't know if you even know what they are.
I don't, no.
There's one right there.
The big one?
The big one, but that one's like a, that's just like a way off season. That one right there. Yeah, the 6-inch pot. Some of the, I don't know if you guys even know what nobile dendrobiums are. So what we do is we grow them up, and I'll show you, I have a 2 acres of them. What we do is we grow them up at a certain stage, and then we cool them ourselves. And we're going to actually take out, I think, 9,000 in a week or so. Yeah. The reason I grow all kinds of different stuff, nobody really grows lady slippers much in the United States. No one grows grammatophyllums at all. Maybe a handful, not an acre. I have acres of it. And nobody grows dendrobiums on this, nobile dendrobiums on the scale I do. I did play with Vandas, but they take a long time. It's not hot enough here on a consistent year-round basis. So Eric was asking me, you know, like I can't be mainstream. Like I talked with the Lowe's buyer yesterday. They only have Phalaenopsis in the store. That's where I come in. We put in Southern California, these Grammatophyllums. Oh my God. They just sold out instantly because people never see anything but Phalaenopsis. So we have to be a little bit unique out here, far away from the marketplace. We have to have a unique product in order to succeed. If I grew Phalaenopsis, no one's going to buy any of it, right?
Well, you're also bringing cool product to the industry.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely.
It's very cool.
Yeah. It's kind of a niche market. That's why I grow all of this weird stuff, Cattleyas and all of that. And other growers buy our non-blooming Cattleyas as well. We sell a lot of non-blooming plants, so to other growers in the U.S. because nobody grows them.
Thanks so much, Jeffrey, for showing us around. This has just been, like I said, a dream come true for me to just see this incredible variety of plants and to think that you've developed so many of these. I just wanted to ask, you know, like, are there things that you wish that consumers or florists knew more about orchids that you'd like kind of to get the word out with?
Boy, buy more? I don't know. I really don't. I don't really know. It's like florists are more cut flowers. Sometimes they could use. We have a little bit of the, like say the Matii things in 2-inch pods blooming.
Yeah.
So we're thinking that might be a good niche for like those people.
Yeah.
They can just put them in a basket and see a lady slipper. The foliage is cool, you know, look. But in a 2-inch, you know, so we're trying to do something like that.
I know you talked about it a little bit with different orchids. Have you been breeding for longer flower duration and things like Cattleya as well? Or?
Yes, color and flower duration with the, you know, like pretty much the background, the genetics of the Cattleya. I haven't done it in a while, but yeah, I bred some pretty thick flowered Cattleyas that'll last a long time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great. You know, we always are hearing about how much folks sort of miss some of those corsage types that really were such a mainstay for so long. I guess along those lines, you talked a little bit about doing some work with Thailand for the cloning and for the flasking. Are you also looking into materials from there, or do you source materials from locally, or where do you find inspiration, I guess, orchid-wise?
I used to get material from Thailand, Taiwan, and Japan, but I don't really need to anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, for the Cattleyas, a lot of no one really breeds them so much. Maybe a little in Taiwan, and that's it. Japan doesn't, and I have enough hundreds of varieties. I don't really need to breed them anymore. So, but I still look around, but I don't actively, like when I was younger, I didn't have anything, so I was looking for new stuff, and now I don't really need to.
Yeah. And I guess with the Grammatophyllums, I was wondering, I've always seen them as whole plants. Have you seen those used as cut flowers at all? Or
They don't last.
Okay.
We've tried it. We've cut a lot and kept them in water. They don't last. The flowers just drop. It would be great if they did, but they don't.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe that Grammatocymbidium, get that cymbidium.
That
like
one
flower
might
there.
work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never tried to cut that one in bloom and see what it works. But I'm not going to I'm going to sell the whole plant.
Yeah. Exactly.
I know you guys love cut flowers, but it's not mine.
I mean, I could go on about orchids with you all day. This has been wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
So we grow them in the plug trays. There aren't any more here. These came out of here, and we put 2 in a pot. Because if you put 1, you're only going to get like 1 cane, right? So you kind of want to have that bushy looking effect. That was my original idea. So people want to buy it. We just planted all of these here. You can see we use like a New Zealand bark. I bring it in from New Zealand. It's really hard. It grows the best. So we grow it in New Zealand bark. You can see here. We planted the 2 plants, and here's the 2 new shoots. They'll grow up to here, and then we can sell it. It's relatively quick. Some varieties, though, are a little bit difficult to bloom. Some of the colorful oranges and stuff, so you need to grow them a little bit longer, even up to a year. I have another little project I want to do. I want to grow some colorful ones about this high, like specimen type. So we're trying to bloom some now. Take an extra year, but the plant is this. So the plants are like this high. Here, if we walk down here, I have a purple variety. Just they're kind of weird. We're going through the crop and throwing away. We're throwing away bad plants right now. But this particular plant has an extra set of chromosomes. They call it a tetraploid. So it doesn't grow as easy as the other ones. It doesn't bloom as easy. This just bloomed naturally out here. I didn't do anything to it. But when we do it, it flowers a lot more when we actually do it. But we have all the different colors and that. This lasts at least a month. It can be shipped. That's a problem we have is shipping, freezing during shipping. You must have a
Winter
problem
time,
with
yeah.
that. Not these. I mean, it's got to be 0 degrees and the box got to freeze. These can handle in the high 30s in the box. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another
Pretty
reason
good, yeah.
why I did that. Like cattleyas and stuff, they're much more sensitive. Lady slippers are pretty good about the coolness, and these are the best. But you can see the different colors. We have all different colors. This is an old plant. This has been blooming for a few months. So it's on its way out. I'm glad you can at least see one. This is a variety that I made. And then I have another green variety as well. The flowers are a lot tighter and the spike is a little shorter. I did do some crossbreeding with this. I don't know if you know what a cymbidium is. I crossed a cymbidium, a yellow cymbidium with a grammatophyllum and back to the grammatophyllum, and I have about, 5,000 over there. The spikes are a little bit shorter, compact plant. So my new idea, I have a new idea, and I'll show you right here. This is that one I told you with the cymbidium cross. See how small the plant is? So I crossed it back with this one, or in all different types. This is a clone too, but see how it kind of looks? It looks different than these bigger plants. But that's my idea. And then you can see this is the tighter green one. See how the flowers are close? You can just tell by the buds, right? So I crossed that with that. So I want to get something in the middle, and then have a tighter plants, cooler.
Wanted to say thank you, Jeff, for a great tour.
Yeah, thank you.
Fun. I was really
Everyone really enjoyed it, and we really have. We saw a lot. We're so happy what we saw. It was really exciting and very educational. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good luck. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Keep up the good work, sir.
I've been friends with Eric a long time, and Ken even longer. I remember when we were young, we used to go to the disco.
That's how old we are, right?
Yeah, I mean that long ago.
First of all, welcome everybody. My name is Eric Tanoe, and I'm president of Greenpoint Nursery. So Greenpoint Nursery is just entering our third generation as primarily a cut flower operation. Primarily about 40% we sell in the state of Hawaii, maybe about 5% international, and the rest is domestic US. So some common questions would be, how do we ship? Well, primarily in the state, we're primarily using Hawaiian cargo as our primary inter-island cargo carrier, and a little bit with Aloha. On the domestic market, we primarily are a FedEx shipper, and we do a little bit with UPS also. We also use airline cargo to the mainland too, mostly to the West Coast. Yeah. International, it just depends on the country, which is primarily Canada or Japan. So we're primarily picking carriers that work best with us for the international market. So when my father first started the business in the early 60s on another location, this one started in the mid-70s that we're on now. He had only a very few cultivars of Anthurium to start with, and he focused on was his market wanted more color, more variety. So he worked really closely with University of Hawaii, College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources. I'll refer to as CTAR. And we're fortunate we have Dr. Tessie Amore possibly on our tour. She's right there in the green shirt. And so because of Dr. Kamimoto and also Tessie, we have a lot more cultivars here, yeah? Hi, Tessie. Dr. Tessie sends us plants we plant out in the testing sites where we'll grow it for her and hopefully solve some of our cultural practices and problems that we have through university breeding. Okay? Another challenge that my dad had when he first started was packing and shipping. So in a little while we'll go here and I'll show you how we pack anthuriums. And it has evolved from secondhand shoe boxes in his day to commercial cardboard, fiberboard to today. And the boxes are also geared according to product, the type of product we ship. We custom make boxes for that. But it's also primarily for FedEx, yeah, to try and get us the best dim weight or actual weight on the product, yeah. So any questions so far? Okay.
How large is the property?
This property, we have 40 acres that are contingently connected here. We have one 10-acre parcel about midway down this 1 mile street. So we have about a 50-acre footprint in this Paneva area. This is state lease, so we're a tenant of the State Department of Agriculture, but this is a farm lot. So what a farm lot means is it's made or engineered for succession planning. So we're fortunate that we have 3 sons that have joined my wife and I. So my dad's hopefully smiling down upon us right now. He's happy that I didn't screw that up, yeah? So by getting into the 3rd generation, this is exactly what this property or this street was made to do. It's primarily focused on people that want to stay in the business for long, generation after generation, and keep expanding. So we also fortunately had got approved, so we're also expanding 3 more lots. So we'll be acquiring 30 more acres in this. So our footprint will be expanding about 30 acres in this area with the Department of Ag lease lands, yeah. We have another property in Kurtistown, which is higher elevation. We're at 300 feet, and the higher elevation is about 900 feet. And so why my father wanted to do a 3rd location, higher elevation, was we grow greenhouses type of construction and production there. So we put a lot of cultivars that are a little more sensitive, market driven, so they're lighter colors or they're sensitive to cultural practice. So we grow undercover in Kurtistown. So we have 2 different locations that help us to grow all the different cultivars in Anthurium. And in our diversification plan, we are growing orchid in Kurtistown as well as orchid down here. I'll get to show you that in a little while. I'll move us right around here so we can talk a little bit about logistics. We're still packing, so if you guys can come a little bit closer, you can see the packing. So Lilibet is packing a new wave pack or a single layer pack. As we use more university cultivars, which were different size but also different color, this pack lends itself really well to all the new varieties that we're growing today. Lighter colors, more sensitive, yeah, to damage or bruise. So one of the reasons why we went, so a question might be, why did we go to a single layer pack? Well, in the early 90s, we were exporting a lot to Japan for auction. So this pack lent itself to show the flowers real easy to the Japan auction market. So we started the impetus was the Japan auction market, so the auctioneers could show the flower easy. We have very minimum damage, very minimum packing material, so the weight is also very light.
How many different varieties of Anthurium are you growing?
Right now, with all the different cultivars, private and with UH, maybe between 30 to 40 cultivars we grow here of Anthurium. You know, we've been doing marketing with the industry. So HFNA's marketing plan, you get to hear more about it in the Friday and Saturday. But a lot of the marketing that we've been doing is originally maybe back in 2007, 8, or 9. I saw Hitomi do a show at Floridec, and I told myself we really got to get connected more with Hitomi. And so we've been working over 20 years with Hitomi, but what she did for us was she came up with the phrase or the coin Neotropica, which was designing in a new way, tropicals, because our breeding program, you cannot breed an Anthurium less than 10 years. It takes a long time to get a commercial variety. So our challenge was, hey, our customer is asking us for new stuff every year, but we cannot breed that fast. What do we do? So he told me, he said, well, you can design with the product in a different way. So actually the product is the same, but it's going to appear to look different because it's designed in a new and different way. And so we latched on that idea, and she came up with Neotropica. And so we got our salespeople to start focusing on selling to the more progressive customer that wants new varieties, different color, the using Anthurium and complementing with orchids or tropical flowers, and following that Neotropica theme. And of course, after that was Tropical Nouveau came out. So with these themes, we trained our salespeople to sell that way, to educate our customer, the new customer that we're going after. Fortunately, the new customers that we are going after pays us enough where we can actually afford higher wage for our employees, or invest in R&D so that we can keep supporting our breeding program at University of Hawaii. But the success of, I guess, our sales team being able to sell to that preferred or better customer created a lot of demand. So right now we're selling every stem we can get our hands on right now. But in the bigger picture, I think there's big opportunity right now. And so we hear a lot about the aging farmer, and like you heard from Jeff that, you know, he's challenged with generation succession. Fortunately for like our company, we have generation succession under control, and like Hilo Orchid Farms, which is an orchid farm which is similar to Jeff Newman, they have generation succession. So we have a few companies in cut flowers, blooming plants, and foliage plants in Hawaii that have their generation succession plan in place. Hopefully we'll be able to set the example for other nurseries that can copy us, so that they can enjoy what we're enjoying, or at least we might be at the tip of the spear, but it's an opportunity for them to have success too. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is a very typical Hawaii grown Anthurium. We're growing it in a pipe and cable structure with 80% shade cloth. It's grown, so when it rains, it's coming through. When it's sun, it's coming through. You see some risers here. It's not necessarily for irrigation. It's more for regulating the temperature in the greenhouses. Right now, everything you see is planted in the ground in 100% volcanic cinder. So this is cinder that was brought in from our grandfather 30 plus years ago. So it's pretty sustainable on that part. We're still using the same media. One thing how we plant our plants is we rely on tissue cultured material. Everybody familiar with tissue culture? Yes, for the most part, okay.
No.
It's okay, I can touch base. Thank you. Tissue culture is a method of propagating Anthuriums in a sterile laboratory. So rather than a traditional way of multiplying Anthuriums, which would take 1 year to make 100 plants, we can make maybe 10,000 plants in 1 year. Wow. By using a single growing meristem, growing shoot, or different parts of the plant. You're basically just forcing it to multiply itself. Yeah. So that's another method by Dr. Omori, everybody. Dr. Omori is the head breeder at University of Hawaii. I'm going to be jumping all over the place a little bit while I'm talking about it. So this is a new UH variety that was introduced 22. So 2 years ago at AIFD Symposium. This is the Phil Rulota. And then the dark red one in the front is Kathy Rulota. So thank you, Dr. Omori.
Oh, thank you. It's nice to see it growing so nicely.
They're growing well. So we harvest Monday through Friday, every day. Our regular business hours is 7 to 3:30. Our harvesting crew is harvesting every day.
Like throughout the day?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We have a really good harvest crew. Yeah. So we estimate about 35 to 40,000 stems a week. Yeah.
And that's by hand.
All by hand. Yes.
As you guys can see, this is not Anthurium. Yeah, or for those who think that this is not Anthurium, these are orchids. This is a demonstration that we're doing in Paneeva to see if we can grow orchids in Paneeva. So as you know, we're more known to be an Anthurium grower. Yeah? We're not really known to be an orchid grower or any other crop. But we needed to grow orchids for, let's say, 3 reasons, or maybe 2. First, we had an eruption in Komohana. I don't know if you guys know, but we had an eruption in Komohana and it took out a lot of our orchid growers. About a dozen growers got taken out. A lot of the dendrobium and lower elevation growers were inundated. They're 50 feet under lava right now, so they cannot go back. Yeah, I think the land it's condemned. They got bought out. So take the money and move. Yeah, so most of them took the money and they're relocating. Yeah, the second problem is because of the inundation, no supply. So our responsibility is to supply the market. And if we cannot get that supply from Komohana, we had to duplicate, we had to replace it. So this is a demonstration of can we grow from 25 to 50 feet elevation in Komohana, can we grow dendrobium and vendaceous orchids at 250 feet or 300 feet. So we ran some studies and we think we can. So we have an orchid expert, fortunately, in the company. And basically, we're replicating the climate in Bangkok. The third reason is orchids is like a no-brainer. So it's we could probably easily sell 10 stems of orchids to 1 stem of Anthurium. It's easy to sell orchids. It's more difficult to sell Anthurium. So our marketing that I had mentioned a little bit about Neotropica, that was to help us get Anthuriums into the mainstream. But orchids has been in the mainstream in weddings and all over floristry for ever since you can think about floristry. Yeah, everybody loves orchids. Yeah, so we felt we needed to become an orchid expert. And so this demonstration, we have 1 acre, and it's to see if we can grow dendrobium and some vendaceous. And the last greenhouse we have a demonstration if we could grow even oncidium down here. So it's looking okay. It's growing. Yeah. So you get to see some different type of orchids as we walk through. We can try and get 3 roots, yeah, 3 roots. But if cannot 2 roots, then that's where we're gonna cut, and then you plant in a pot like that, yeah. So the whole length of the stalk will keep, will keep producing more plants.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's just...
We had a great tour at Greenpoint Nurseries. A lot of great questions. Fortunately, the weather held up and we didn't get rained on, so we saw Anthurium, orchids, and tropical flowers and foliage. And we're looking forward to lunch soon. So see you in a little while, guys. Aloha.
Thank you for coming to our humble abode, kind of messy, but we've been here for 34 years, so this used to be a banana farm. So we had to knock down all the bananas, fill the land, because there was a lot of, it was different. But yeah, so yeah, 34 years. And this is a calabash to me. The Tanois and Shiigis are related through marriage, yeah. So I know this family.
I got the strong back. He got all the brains.
You got it mixed up, brother. So anyway, a little history about our business here. We moved here from Oahu. And I always wanted to come back to the Big Island. My dad is from Pahoa. The problem was my wife, we met in college, but the problem with my wife, is she's the only girl of all boys. Most of her life was spent grew up in France, New Jersey, Okinawa, Japan. She lived in Greece for 5 years because her dad was with the State Department. So when I told her that, I knew already, I was kind of perceptive that I don't think she'll actually come Big Island. So I told her, I had a good friend who went to Costa Rica and he became a big bromeliad person over there. So I told she'll have, I was thinking of going to Costa Rica, and starting a bromeliad nursery. And then she close to the mom, David wants to move us to Costa Rica. Is he nuts? So I knew I wanted to take it there. So anyway, long story short, she agreed to come to the Big Island after we got married. So we got married, brought our little girl.
Oh, she's right there.
Oh, right there. Yeah, we brought our little girl. She was the first of three. We started a nursery in Poho, actually, and then she cried for 1 year, wanted to go back to Honolulu. She wanted to go back to Alamana Shopping Center. So anyway, after the first year, everything kind of worked out. Started the business. Fortunately, my oldest, Royanne, she had an interest in, she got the interest from, normally a lot of kids, lucky that Tanoi kids, they follow in their footsteps from grandpa and father. And that's rare, and we lucky, you lucky. Yeah, right. So we're fortunate that she continued, and my son too participates in we have a nursery at my house too. So, but she's the key for our business. We're fortunate we continue the business here, 34 years over here. So I did all the hybridizing at my other place. And the breeding process, anybody who do breeding, anybody breeds plants, raise your hand. You know.
Not flowers.
Yeah, or you breed, yeah. But you know record keeping is very important, you know. So breeding of any, you gotta keep good detailed records. And you gotta be persistent. You know, sometimes the stigma will not accept the pollen from certain plants. So it's a matter of process, keeping records. Ryan does all her breeding over here in this area. You see the plants that this is the different staging, yeah? But if you look over here, can you see all the different size plants? And you see the ones with the inflorescence, the flower. So what she does is that some genera of bromeliads are night bloomers, some are day bloomers, some are midday bloomers, some bloom differently in the winter, the summer. So it's a variation of blooming. So you got to know when to pollinate and what is receptive to pollen. Temperature makes a difference. If you look on this side, I don't know if you can see, but you see those tags on the plants. You see, there's a lot of tags. Now, every tag is a plant that's being crossed. And we have a numeric system that's from tag to book to computer. So
thank y'all. I'm here with David Shiki and Royanne Shiki of Bromeliads Hawaii. This has just been a mind-blowing tour. I mean, just incredible diversity, every shape, size, texture I can think of. And I'm also really impressed, you know, we hear so much about like the aging generation of horticulture here. It's so exciting to see this next generation. How have you like found different ways of like bonding and sort of like exchanging this knowledge? Has this really been a great experience for y'all? Or?
Yeah, you know, the biggest thing to me is how you entice the next generation. A lot of the next generation, they rather do it my way or go a different route. But I'm fortunate that I had Ryan, because being that she used to help me when she was young, you would think there would be a detriment to her, but it kind of suckered her life that, hey, maybe this is what I'm going to do like my dad. So it continued from that movement, and I'm glad that she did take over, yeah.
I'm so glad, you know, and I think, you know, we see so much stuff on the horizon. It was exciting to see all the crosses you've made.
Yeah.
I guess, you know, I'm wondering, are there uses for bromeliads, especially in floral design, that you think are neglected or you'd like to see more of or anything?
Yeah, you know, we're trying to move towards that direction. A lot of times some of these plants are slow growing, so the way we can conquer the problem is to produce more, so there's more on the market. The price for certain varieties is kind of expensive because of the time frame to get them to market size, but that's a key, Dr. James. Yeah.
No, I'm excited, you know, like I've seen more and more in recent years, and it's great to kind of see what's in the pipeline, essentially.
You know, a good example is when I was a young man and doing bromeliads. You don't see it on TV. Now I turn on the TV, they're on the Young and the Rest, or whatever. There's all these shows, these soap operas. It's all over now. But it was so rare to see bromeliads in the news or on the, you know, on the TV. Yeah. So I'm happy that social media. I'm happy that it finally coming out and. And we're part of it, you know. We're not the big ones, but we're known for our little, what we do.
Yeah, no.
But, yeah.
I've heard folks all over the place reference y'all, and it's great to see Hawaii famous for another kind of bromeliad, right? You know? Thank y'all so much. This has just been an incredible experience.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for Sita. You guys are best. You're the best. Yeah. We gotta keep agriculture here, you know, and keep the young ones coming in.
For real, yeah, it's a fun field to be in. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Edna Shiigi, and everybody wanted to get this plant. We were in Florida. There was this woman, she's a very avid collector. She offered him, she actually came to this house we were staying at in her nightgown and robe because she was determined to get this plant.
She was a movie star in Philippines.
Yes.
Yeah, movie star.
And she kept offering more and more money. He kept saying, no, no, no.
She told me
this
10
plant
grand she
is
wanted.
not for sale. But she thought if she ups the price more, he'll sell it. That's what she thought, that he was trying to get more money. But the funny thing about this plant is, if he could have made more keikis, maybe he would have sold it. But he only got, how many did you get?
Four, but one died at 3.
Yeah. So the keikis are going to be one for each of our children. And he tried tissue culturing. He tried.
Arnold Hara tried at the University of Radiation.
Yeah, they were trying everything to
work.
reproduce this plant because it was such a demand for it. So what he's thinking is his mom, because she's
She was a
passed,
good Christian lady.
yeah, she said, son, you're not going to make any money off of me.
And I said, shucks.
I know. Everybody that sees this plant is like, oh. So that's the story behind this. Everybody sees that they want it, but oh gosh, David, how old is these two?
Well, the original one is over 30 years already. Yeah, over 30 years.
These are the keiki.
Yeah.
And Mama.
It's a long time.
Yeah, everybody wanted this plant.
Can't be, but right, you tell them, yeah. Can't be. Took to the road conference in Honolulu on it. I did.
That would have been really
I took it to, it was a little bit smaller. But I wanted just to show them, but people have my plant on the internet, but the live, not can be seen live, not can be seen live, you know, yeah.
So on behalf of Hawaii Floriculture and Nursery Association, HFNA's nursery tour this year, we just want to say thank you, David, Shirlette, and Roy Ann. What a wonderful business, a wonderful story, a wonderful family. Everyone was so excited to see all the different colors of bromeliad. This is like mind-blowing over here. It's like being a kid in a candy store over here. Yeah? So thank you so much for that story.
Thank you.
No problem, yeah. Thanks for coming, and my cousin Eric is here with you guys. So I'm glad that there's a lot of participation in this conference coming up. So we're glad that we're part of it. He's showing you what we do, and the next generation what she's going to do. And that's so important for us to have the next, like our Eric's family, we have the next ones to take over.
That's right.
Yeah.
keep the farm going.
Keep the farm going, yeah. And Eric and I and some other people worked on extending the egg leases, so we got them. And
Very successful.
yeah, so we worked as a team and we got them. So thanks for coming and enjoy the conference. Okay.
So this is after lunch, so it's great that we don't have to sit in a warm classroom, right, after lunch. And we can actually walk around and enjoy the fresh air, yeah? So right now, this is a plant group, right?
Plant Group Hawaii, yeah.
Yeah, Plant Group Hawaii. And this is Colton Collins, the proprietor, and also Becky? Debbie, sorry, mom, mother, so boss, right, still?
Property owner, yeah.
So she still signs the check, yeah? So we're so fortunate today because it's not often we get that opportunity where we can come to this nursery and see some of the plants that have been collected by Colton. And so I'll kind of turn it over to you, and then you want to do a short introduction?
Yeah, I'll do a short intro. Yeah. So, hi guys, I'm Colton, and welcome to Plant Group Hawaii. It's the mission of this family-run business to collect, cultivate, and conserve rare tropical plants. And in doing so, over the past few decades, we've amassed one of the largest collections of gingers and heliconias in the U.S. And today I'm going to share that collection with you guys. So just before we get started, I'll give you an outline of what we're going to do today. I'll give a little background about the origin of Plant Group Hawaii, a little background about myself. We'll do a little walk. I have a booth set up with some things that we're flowering on the farm today, and then we can do a walk through just through the fields. So a little background, origin of Plant Group Hawaii. Some of you may know my father, Mark Collins. He spent his career traveling to Latin America and Southeast Asia, collecting heliconias and gingers. He's traveled to more than 50 countries, and he introduced and named more than 150 heliconia varieties that were registered with the Heliconia Society. And he's also introduced a similar number of gingers as well. And he even has a couple of ginger species named after him. And for me, fortunately, I was the son of a botanical explorer, so that means I had work to do all the time. One of the benefits of having a son is cheap labor. So since I was a little boy, I was working with these plants, whether it's pulling weeds in the greenhouse or in the fields or cleaning rhizomes or cutting flowers. I've been doing that for a long time now. And when I was 17, I was fortunate enough to join my dad on my first expedition with him. We went through Myanmar, so we started from northern Thailand, went through Myanmar up to the border of southern China. And then we found some gingers, we found some variegated palms, and that's kind of the start of my botanical expedition journey. When I was 21, so just a few years after that, my dad unfortunately passed away, so I've kind of been running things since then. And over the past decade or so, I've also been traveling to Latin America and Southeast Asia, collecting and introducing heliconias and gingers. I did my master's at Hilo, where I did species distribution models, which pretty much just means I created treasure maps of where to find heliconias, and then I actually went to like Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia to search for them. And over the past 4 years, I've been based in Singapore, where I've been doing my PhD in plant-soil interactions in tropical forests. So just being out there, I got to explore a lot more of Southeast Asia, especially Borneo, where I collected a number of things and brought back here. So now we're gonna do a little walk and hopefully see some of the things our family has amassed here. And then if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Yeah, follow me.
Thank you. What kind of permits do you need to go and collect plants from other countries?
You need permits from the USDA, you need phyto from the host country, and then the plants need to go through inspection, which don't always get approved, which is heartbreaking, but that's part of the process. Right here is Heliconia chartacea, sexy scarlet. People know sexy pink, so this is a variation of that. It has more compact blooms and a more contrasting color on the inflorescence, and it's much easier to grow, so that's why we produce a lot more of this one instead of the sexy pink. All right, I'll go over a little different few things that we have. So our main collection are heliconias. So we have around 140 different forms, from uprights to pendants, different color variations. They have different flowering times. So the orthotrichas and strictas tend to be more winter flowering, whereas the Caribea beehive types tend to be more summer, spring flowering. So we grow the different varieties and have year-round production kind of thing. We also have the pendant varieties, and they don't just have a diversity of colors and shapes, but also texture. So you can feel free to touch some of this stuff, especially these fuzzy ones here. It's a plant you can pet if you'd like. Next, we have the beehives. We have a number of unnamed varieties that we haven't introduced yet. Varying in different colors, shapes, sizes. Even the stems can be a bit different with these kind of marked a bit in coloration. Not only do they vary in color and size, but also in smell, which I feel like a lot of people don't utilize. This here is the classic Avapuhi shampoo ginger, right? So this has the fragrance that you can use for a shampoo. This is Zingiber otinsii, which isn't traditionally used as a shampoo, but it has a similar. And then if you do smell it, it's a bit spicier, it has a different fragrance to it. And there are also different zingibers, like this one here, that have a bit of a texture. So if you feel it a little bit. Yeah, this is called, it's all right, it's called tennis ball ginger. It is used, the rhizomes are used medicinally in Southeast Asia. I'm not aware of the liquid being used, but the avapuhi, it has been traditionally used, and it is used in modern day, like Paul Mitchell uses that in his shampoo. Yeah. That is Heliconia veligera. It's root beer. Veligera.
Yeah.
It's alive.
So it's a bit fuzzy there, and then that's the true flower.
I've gotten them in here.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll just hold this one for now. Up next, we have curcuma. These are seasonal, so again, from Southeast Asia. They go dormant during the winter months and pop up again in the spring. They vary in size and color also. These blooms, specifically this hybrid, can get about this tall in height, whereas other ones, say like this smaller guy, stays a bit shorter. The vase life variety does vary. Some can last a couple of weeks, whereas others just a week or so. It really depends on what variety you're working with there. Next we have globas, or dancing girls, which some of you may know them by. It's kind of the end of the season now, so they're starting to fade away and go dormant. But again, they come in different color variations. This is blue Hawaii, which kind of has this lavender hue. There's white dragon, shibui, which has a bicolored inflorescence there. And these blooms are actually, they can last up to 2 to 3 weeks, so depending on how you keep them. So they have a lot of cut flower potential. It's just no one in Hawaii really seems to use them. I'm not sure if it's more of a supply issue or just florists aren't really familiar with working with it.
What's the name again?
These are globas, or dancing girls is kind of the general common name. But in Southeast Asia, they have these by the thousands, and they're using them at if you go to their farmers markets or their temples, they're just everywhere. So there's a lot of cut flower. They look fragile, but they're not. Yeah, that's kind of There's a story in Myanmar about the weeping goldsmith, and it goes that this goldsmith was so skilled that he could design and produce anything. And then one day a little girl brought him this flower and told him can you make this out of gold, right? So he tried and he tried and he tried, and long story short, he wasn't able to produce the delicacy of this flower, and that's why he wept. But that's the story, yeah. We also have a number of interesting novelties. So like this, most people probably haven't seen before. This is in the Maranthaceae family, Calathea. So it produces long stems. These are quite long-lasting as flowers as well. Again, a lot of potential here. They do have day flowers which drop a lot, but other than that, a lot of potential, just maybe people don't know about it as much. We do have green ice, which it's getting more common now. It's one of the introductions that's becoming more used recently. And then we have custis, or spiral ginger. Wow. This is called the kiss of death. Yeah. Also, sometimes people like to use these when the beehives go out of season. These custis are still in season. It's kind of a replacement because it's like a meatier, bigger bloom. And then along with the novelties is this one. It's a rare ginger species. It's called Larcinianthus. These are the day flowers here that can come right out. My father did introduce this as well, and the common name is Cassie Collins, after my sister. So yeah, this one also isn't used very much, but I think it's more of a supply issue. I only know of a couple growers that even have this in their collection. Oh, and one more thing, these are the rattlesnakes, also in the Maranthaceae family. The Maranthaceae are known for the prayer plants, or the designed on the leaves. You might have seen them at Home Depot or Lowe's, that kind of thing. These ones are known for their cut flowers. So they have different variations, different sizes. You can just see the colors there, a little bit deeper, some come in green. So we have a number of varieties of that as well. And again, very good vase life for these guys.
How do you decide what you're going to grow, this market?
Well, we got two sides of the business, and they're a little bit in conflict with one another. One side wants to collect everything and anything, and then you kind of hoard it all, and you're like, oh, I got the best collection ever. But the other side wants to, oh, wait, no, these ones make more money, so we should grow more of that one.
It is hard to predict what people want because sometimes what you think would be a good cut flower or a good pot plant, then for some reason the market just doesn't agree with you. Whereas other things that you thought won't do well, you just have a little bit, then everyone seems to be asking for the one that you don't have a lot of. So it's just perhaps better communication with the florists and customers would help that process out. Yeah. All right, well, if you guys like to walk through the fields, I think we'll start from that end and then work our way this way. I'll stay on the outsides and just kind of tell you what's in the fields and what's flowering. And then if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those. And if you go further down, that is a heliconia. It looks like Rostrata, but it's actually an undescribed species that is closely related to Rostrata. A lot with the plant names, like usually one guy comes up with something and then the next guy kind of just goes along with it. Yeah, the other cusses, they have like a whole kiss collection. There was like a French kiss or sun kiss and then kiss of death here. No, I gotta go find my own. Yeah. But yeah, if you want to take a look at how the bloom looks on the stem there, feel free. These Alpinia here are called the Darwin series. So they all vary slightly in the color and size, and they all have this white true flower there. Some are a bit more pink, some are a bit more thicker at the base.
So at what stage are the Citricorn usually cut to sell? What's the best condition? You look there?
I would cut it around this stage or a bract open.
And it will fully develop like this?
It won't fully develop, but over time it might get something, it might open another bract or two even after it's been cut. But it probably won't get like...
So that it will never get it at that stage?
This is, if it's like just a weekend thing, you could use this, like just a one or weekend thing. But if you're gonna ship it somewhere, then I would do it smaller and then, yeah.
It doesn't hold up in ship.
It doesn't hold up. And
that is beautiful.
all these will fall off, kind of, these are just day flowers that...
I just love how it torques.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
so gorgeous.
Yeah.
So, wow, we had a great tour. Thank you, Colton, for a wonderful experience. I'm so excited about seeing so many exotic plants. And I didn't know that they're available. These wonderful gifts from nature collected by your father and you, now in Hawaii, and they're available. The designers were just ecstatic. They were like blown away today. Yeah, thank you so much for the tour.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. Thanks for sharing, allowing me to share my collection with you and all the other designers. Hopefully they feel a bit more inspired now. And we can also spread awareness about the diversity of these wonderful plants.
Wonderful.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Wow, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
What
what
a
a great
fabulous
tour.
nursery tour.
All those resources, all those new
Yes.
stuff. I bet the designers were like pretty blown away when they saw the amount of flowers and all the different varieties.
Yeah, it was really fantastic. I do want to mention that everybody did go and stop at Pacific Floral Exchange for lunch. That was a lunch stop. So that was the fifth nursery that there was a stop by.